Hello everyone, this is your host Noorish and you are watching RR Sports Impact. And today it's going to be another one of our special episodes of this sports series. And this one is going to be extra special because we are going to be joined by someone whom before formally introducing him, I'd like to say a bit more about him. He's a magician with the ball. I'd say a showman with his celebrations. And just in 2021, he rewrote history by he actually rewrote the record books by having the most T20I wickets, international wickets in a single calendar year. And right now, he is, I'd say, the X factor for Team Multan Sultans. I am joined by none other than the legend Tabraiz Shamsi. How are you, Tabraiz?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, of course, you have been dominating the international cricket for a long period of time now, and your iconic shoe celebration is something that everyone, really loves it all. But right now, I'd say, the sensation of Team Multan Sultans this year. I want to, get your perspective on this because we've seen Multan Sultans has been going forward with a very, I'd say, calm and calculated approach, a pretty data-driven approach, and they have, gone ahead with under the pretext of total cricket. How have you found the total cricket mechanism for the betterment of Multan Sultans this year?
Yeah, it's been really nice. We are really blessed with a great management system. The coaches, the ownership, and the leadership group. So I think that's one of the reasons why the team's done so well so far. Everybody's really calm. Everyone knows what their job is, and yeah, in a crazy way, we're keeping things very simple, and yeah, just doing whatever needs to be done in order for the team to win.
Absolutely. And Tabriz, of course, you were the first overseas player to arrive for the Multan Sultans this year. But you haven't been able to play a match for them. How have you been, preparing yourself to, and what technical tweaks have you made to, make sure that you are ready and you deliver the best of your abilities when you get that chance to, feature for them?
Yeah, look, whether you're playing or you're not playing, you're always doing the work behind the scenes. So it's been the same for me. I've been really been working really hard at training just to be ready. If the opportunity comes and the team requires me to do the job, I'll try and do that to the best of my ability. But in the meanwhile, there's other ways to contribute as well. You can help out the guys that are playing. You can share your knowledge with the other people, other players in the squad, and also get to learn from them as well. That's the beauty of league cricket. You get to interact with people from different countries, and you can share your knowledge with them and also learn a lot from them as well. So I've been trying to contribute a lot behind the scenes. Obviously, I haven't got an opportunity to play on the field, but like I said, when you're with a team, there's many ways you can contribute. So that's the best that I'm trying, trying to keep the positive vibes going in the environment, and just making sure I can help out wherever I can.
And of course, and we've seen that being diffused into the team this year as well with their absolutely brilliant performances. We've seen, them being one of the earliest teams to make it to the playoffs. So that is definitely one of the most positive key factor because, the environment that you have in your dressing room that has an impact on your performance as a team on the ground as well. So, Tabriz, Multan this year has opted for a very, I'd say, local spin heavy I'd say attack with guys like Faisal Akram and Arfat Minhas being in the squad. How have you found mentoring them, being a veteran world class spinner yourself? What's that one, technical tip that you've given them to improve their game?
Yeah, it's been really nice to spend time with these guys. Arafat Minas, I had been with him previously when we were both at Karachi Kings, so I knew him from before. So I'd seen him. I'd seen him once or twice. Whenever I've toured with South Africa, I met him a couple of times when he was at the stadium while we were training. So it's just been nice to be around the guys and to help out. I think the biggest thing that I can, that I've tried to impart on the guys is just the way we prepare, just to be absolutely critical in preparation,
Mm.
because if we if we really focused in training, it makes things a lot easier in order to perform on the field. So I think that's been one advice that I've given to them, and also just the mental aspect of the game. That's a huge huge factor that separates good players from the best players. So those are a couple of the things. But it's not for me. It's not always one way street. Even though these guys are a lot younger, but there's so many
Hmm.
things that I can learn from him as well. So yeah, it's been nice to be able to speak to these guys and also get their perspective as well. If they see something with my bowling, I'm very very open and very happy when the guys come with a suggestion, and you know it can only help me with my game as well. So yeah, it's a two-way street.
Well, Tabriz, listening you saying all of this, I think I finally cracked that secret that you guys have behind all of these world-class performances with Multan Sultans. Because just a couple of days ago, when Steve Smith came for the presser, he said exactly this, that I'm learning from the youngsters there in this court. So I think it's more related to the environment that there is in the team, and I think that is pretty much what's helping you guys as a unit in Multan Sultans, and that's really really good to see as well. And hear this from you as well. So Tabriz, you have traveled all over the world. Like I mentioned in your introduction, you were the player to rewrite the record books by getting the most T20I wickets in a calendar year, and you have that record as well. So what's your assessment of the pitches so far in this HPL PSL so far been?
I think the pitches have been good. Certain wickets are assisting the bowlers, and I think more so in Lahore, the wickets are more batting friendly. But it's not completely in one direction or the other. As a bowler, obviously, I would like wickets that assist the bowlers, but you also don't want it so extreme that the batters actually have no chance. Sometimes when we are training, obviously there's so many teams training at the same ground. The wickets become so much in favor of the bowlers. That's also not nice because it's not realistic. But also on the other side, you don't want wickets that are so helpful for the batters that the bowlers have
Hmm.
absolutely nowhere to go. So I think the pitches have been quite fair, for the number of games that have been played, repeatedly on the same wickets. I think the groundsmen have done a great job with, the facilities that they've had to manage all these matches in two stadiums, and I think it hasn't been too extreme on either side. So that's been quite nice.
Absolutely. And now moving on to the next part of this podcast, Tabriz, I would like to, delve a bit deep into your technical assessment of your, spin as well, because you have been a very intelligent spinner so far, and we have seen that in some of the clutch, in some, not, I won't say some, but of the vast majority of the, I'd say clutch matches that you've won for your team, be it South Africa, be it, the teams that you've represented in the HPLPSL. So, what I would wanna particularly talk about from a technical point of view is that most people know that you've changed from seam to wrist spin at 15. And all I want to know is how did that change your loading position? Because we've seen that most former seamers they usually struggle with high release points. How did you bypass that and include that this highly deceptive and sharp trajectory in your spin?
Yeah, I think a lot of that also has to do with like you mentioned, I used to be a seamer before. That's why my run up is quite long compared to other spin bowlers. Um, so yeah, I didn't really change my run up that much. And I think in terms of my bowling, I haven't delved too much into the technical side of things. I'm more about visualizing. So I put my targets down and I do a lot of training in that sense, and then to technically tweak those things here and there. So I focus more on the mental side of the game in order to make sure you know how can I problem solve? So if I've got my targets down and my ball's not going in the right area, I like to do repeated, training sessions to see how I can best figure it out. So I think yeah, not so much technical, but more the mental side of the game. No matter what sort of
Mm.
skill you have to make it work because some guys have a specific action and another guy has a different action, different heights. Um, so I think, look, everybody's unique. I believe a lot in the mental side of the game rather than very technical because at the end of the day, everyone has their own unique way of getting the ball into the right area. And I think
Mm.
bowlers that can put the ball in the right area more often are the ones that are more successful.
Absolutely. And of course, the brace, you've mentioned that, you really look up to Saeed Ajmal in that sort. So, from a technical viewpoint, are you trying to, have you ever tried to, replicate his top spin heavy release to, get that extra bounce? Or are you just prioritizing lateral deviation through a wide wrist snap?
Yeah, not so much that. Obviously, he was very unique. I think I mentioned previously what you're referring to is, as a young spin bowler, like he was one of the bowlers that used to turn the ball into the right-handers. Being a right arm off
Hmm.
spinner. So I would really like enjoy watching how he takes wickets, how he sets up batters, and what sort of field positions he used to use. Because obviously we watch and we learn from other people. So he was one example because me being a left arm wrist spinner predominantly also used to turn the ball into the right hander. So those are the kind of things that I try to pick up. You learn from different bowlers, and more so, I like I've mentioned just now, I believe in accuracy. Obviously, you need to have variations in your bowling, but if you're not putting the ball in the right area, it doesn't matter how many variations you have. So I think, yeah, I think accuracy wins over variations any day, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And Tabriz, I would like to shift gears a bit here before we move to the last part of our podcast, and would like to, have your thoughts on the current South African side, who has, who has, it seems like they have been rebirthed ever since that a WTC final against Australia. What do you think the South African side under the captaincy of Temba Bavuma did differently than before?
I think it was a build up for a long time. If you notice our performances, not just in the WTC win, but the 2022, 2021, 2023 World Cups, we've been progressing, as a team and as a group of
Even
players. So
the
I think,
women's side is. Even the women's side of South Africa, they've been
yeah,
exceptional as well. Laura Boulevard.
yeah. So I think all the teams in general, but obviously I can only speak for myself from my perspective. So all the World Cups that we have been a part of, there's been a trajectory, where we've just gone better and better. Unfortunately, in the white ball stuff, we lost in the 2024 World Cup. Um, but I think, all of those moments led up to the guys, you know, finally getting over the line because, once you get there, then it becomes easier to repeat something, and obviously, as a South African team, we had never won an ICC event. So now that one's
Mm,
been ticked off, you mentioned Temba. Obviously, he's a very calm leader. He goes about his business. Sometimes you get leaders that are quite loud and speak and have a presence. Temba leads in a different way. He's a quite a small man, but he's got big thoughts. So yeah, leadership comes in different ways, and Temba is a guy that leads in a different way. And obviously, he's done an amazing job with the test team, and hopefully, in future, the South African white ball teams can win a World Cup soon as well.
we hope so too, and we really hope that happens because we have been cheering for South Africa for as long as if I speak for myself, I have done that. So yeah, we wish them the best of luck. Now, moving on to the final question before I move on to the rapid fire. Tabriz, of course, you've left a legacy behind you, and of course, you with 32 wickets in the bag in 2021, you were the most prolific T20I wicket taker in a calendar year for 2021. I just want to ask, beyond the wickets, if you could have one technical blueprint that you would want to pass on to the next generation of left-arm wrist spinners, what would it be? Would it be the grip, the grit, or the game read?
I think it would be game sense. Like I mentioned, everybody has different grips, everyone has different actions, everyone has different variations. But I think in order to get to the top, a lot of it is a mental battle. If you look at all the top players in the world, they have something different mentally. It's a mentality of the player that takes them to the top and keeps them at the top.
Absolutely.
I think getting to the top is, I wouldn't say easy. It's obviously very difficult, but staying there is much harder. Because once you've achieved that goal of being at the top, I think it's easy for players, just to relax a little bit and not pay attention to the smaller things. So I think, reading the game is the most important aspect of the game. Of course, we work on our skills, but the big difference on the field is the way the players read the game. And obviously, the best in the world read the situation a lot better than the others that are not quite there.
100% Tabraiz. And now, since we've reached the last part of our podcast, there's a small rapid fire round that, it's kind of I'd say, a built-in thingy for these podcasts of ours. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you have to answer in either a yes, no, or just a one-word answer. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay. So, what would you choose? A ripping leg break hitting the top, or a subtle googly through the gate?
I Google it.
Oh, that I was expecting that. I look expected that. Okay. And what would you choose? A packed Wanderers at Jonesburg or a roaring Qaddafi Stadium in Lahore?
I'll take the Pact Wanderers. It's a place that's hard to beat.
Ah, yeah, absolutely. Can second that. What would you choose? Defending 6 runs in the final over or chasing 15 with the bat?
Well, I think it would be a bigger achievement if I chase 15 with the bat, but I would like to try and defend six in the last over.
That's great. That's great. Bowling to Babar Azam or bowling to Mohammad Rizwan?
Bowling to Baba Azam.
That's great. I was expecting that, Loki. Um, taking a five. This one's going to be interesting. Taking a 5 wicket haul or a match-winning direct hit run out.
Ah, 5 wicket haul. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
great.
Do we win the game if I take a 5 wicket haul? That's the question.
Yeah, if okay, let's put that into equation.
Yeah, so if we're not going to win the game, then I don't want the 5 wicket haul. Then it's a direct hit to finish the game for the team.
But how are you gonna know before the match ends if you're gonna win it? Or maybe your 5 wicket haul might win it, or maybe it may replicate a situation similar to 2019 World Cup semi-final Martin Guptill's direct hit run out to MS Dhoni.
Oh, yeah, then you got to take the run out, of course.
I knew that was gonna be a tough one for you. Anyways, which one are you gonna choose? Traditional South African barai or Lahori kadai?
Nah, Bry, any day.
Great. Um, playing in sunglasses or classic headband?
Sunglasses.
Okay. Winning the T20 World Cup or being the number one ranked bowler for a decade?
Winning the T20 World Cup.
I knew that was going to be the answer. Okay, last one. The elegance of Babar Azam or the aggression of Quinton de Kock?
Uh, the aggression of Quinton de Kock.
Okay, okay. Well, Quinton is really swift behind this time, so I'm going to give him that as well. Well, Tabraiz, it's been a real feat to have you on this podcast with us, and it was really nice, talking to you. And of course, I know the audience are going to learn a lot of things from you, but if I speak for myself, I definitely have had quite a few intelligent key takeaways from you. So thank you for joining us and giving us your precious time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And with that, this is the end of the podcast for today. Till then, see you. This is your host Noorish Khan signing off.